few will ever forget, largely because the liberal media won't stop bringing it up, that then-candidate Donald Trump launched his presidential campaign by noting that foreign nations weren't sending their best to immigrate to the U.S., and that some of those crossing our border illegally were murderers and rapists. The left decried the remarks as racist and has used the comments as a cudgel against Trump and all who support him over the intervening years. However, as with many seemingly absurd or out-of-nowhere remarks from President Trump, he has since been proven correct in his assessment that, indeed, there were, and still are, a large number of criminals, to include murderers and rapists, who have and still are crossing our nation's southern border illegally. Evidence supporting Trump's assertion about murderers and rapists was recently provided by way of official federal documents from the Obama administration that were released to Judicial Watch in response to a Freedom of Information Act request initially filed in November 2014. Those documents included 224 pages from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and Office of Refugee Resettlement that included roughly 1,000 summaries of significant incident reports related to unaccompanied alien children that had entered the country illegally during the 6-month period of May to November 2014. The documents revealed that there were no less than 24,680 total significant incident reports filed with ORR during the 2014 fiscal year, which included admissions from ICE that they had committed murders and rapes, smuggled drugs or engaged in prostitution or human trafficking prior to their entry into the U.S. The incident reports generally were broken down into 4 distinct categories, the first being by far the worst as it included such incidents as admitting to murder, belonging to MS-13, threatening others with rape, admitting to drug smuggling, molesting other ICE and seriously assaulting other ICE or staff. The second category involved ICE who were raped and or molested en route to the United States or in the United States, while the third category included government contractors and employees allegedly assaulting or having sexual relationships with ICE. The final category contained all other crimes and incidents that didn't fit any of the prior categories. Judicial Watch included in its release a number of examples drawn from the summary reports of young men and women who admitted being members of criminal cartels or violent gangs like MS-13, having killed others in the past and threatening to do so again, committing rape and threatening rape, and being involved in drug smuggling. A number of other examples were provided of young men and women who said they had been raped or otherwise sexually abused and assaulted while on their way to or once they had entered the U.S. and were in U.S. custody. There were also a number of examples of summary reports that revealed government contractors and employees abused or sexually assaulted ICE. The Obama administration presided over a humanitarian and public safety nightmare in its handling of unaccompanied alien children. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton said in the release, "The incident reports also support the Trump administration's contention that the ICE crisis, which continues, includes murderers, rapists, drug smugglers and human traffickers being routinely allowed into the United States," Fitton added. Unfortunately, this release of official government documents from the Obama administration revealed that not only were ICE who admitted to violent criminal acts being allowed entry to the U.S., some were continuing to commit their violent crimes while in U.S. custody, and those crimes were at times matched and reciprocated by government contractors and employees charged with the safekeeping of those minors. What this report from Judicial Watch also revealed is that Trump was absolutely correct, and is now vindicated, when he suggested that violent criminals were crossing our nation's borders illegally, despite outraged cries to the contrary from Democrats, the Obama administration and their sycophants in the liberal media. We won't hold our breath waiting for their apology to Trump for maligning and smearing him over his accurate assessment of the border situation, though it should be forthcoming from any liberal or journalist who retains a shred of credibility and decency. If any such individuals remain these days,